Question for you, right? So me being a, Haitian American individual, I'm considered black, right? What do you consider? Brown? Yellow?
Well, it's weird, right? Because like Filipinos are the one that's like in the middle. Because technically I'm Asian, because Philippines is in Asia.
Right.
But when you think Asian, you think like...
What will Renee do next? A. Compare Asians to geniuses. B. Compare Asians to Bruce Lee. C. Say Ching Chong. Or D. Squint his eyes. Find out after the break.
That was so racist. That was so racist.
So you're not considered Asian because your eyes aren't. Because you're not easy to draw. You're not considered Asian.
No, but you think like, like that's the Asian thing. Like, you think, okay, take it back. With Asians, you think timid.
Right.
You think a little bit easy to bully.
Modest.
Yeah. Filipinos, I don't know, when I think Asians, I'm not thinking like brash, aggressive.
I immediately think martial arts. So okay, because it's either ultra nerd or ultra martial arts.
No, but
that's how I always looked at Asians.
Okay, so this is the way I see it, right? If Asians are truly the martial arts guys, why are there no Asian UFC champions?
Fair enough.
They're all fucking black or like Brazilian, Mexican. None of them are like Asian.
But then when you look at the champions, like they always fall on crazy hard times. I think amongst all of the races, Asians are always considered to be the smartest. So with that being the case, I guess people don't associate Asians with struggle.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, maybe that can coincide with why they're not at the top.
So that's
of like
kind of
UFC
my point, right? Like, 'cause Philippines is a struggle country. That's why you make Manny Pacquiao's.
Right.
So it's weird.
That's one. That's one.
Yeah. So it's weird because like, I'm technically Asian, I guess. But then when you look at Filipinos, like, are you Asian? But you were colonized by Spain. So are you technically
Spanish?
Yeah, it's like an Asian country that was colonized by Spain. So you get like a weird like crossbreed. Because think about it, Filipinos have Spanish last names. My name is Renee.
Right.
That's not an Asian name, That's not a very
it's a
like
first name. I mean, you can first name anything. Like Lacad, is Lacad Filipino?
That is Filipino, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because you're the first Lacad I've ever.
Yeah,
I've ever
it's not
met.
a very common name. I think it's like 3 generations old. But that's my point. It's like Renee is like that. Like that. When I think Renee, I think Spain. It originated in Spain, France, right? My grandma's name is Jovita.
Okay.
So it's like
That sounds Hispanic.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Filipinos named Jose. We have last names like Lopez and Reyes and like just weird things. So technically we're Asian because we're in Asia, but we're just almost like a thing of our own. It's always been hard for me to identify with like
Hispanic. You're Hispanic Asian.
Hispanic Asian.
So you're like you're brown yellow. What? So if you mix brown what color is it? Somebody who knows, like the crayons, they'll come up with the color there. Or maybe there's a question for Twitter. Where would Filipinos fall? Where would the Philippines fall under? There's a good question for Twitter or Threads.
Well, it's funny because like if you look at just Filipinos from my experience, the people they hang out with, Filipinos, they're divided in 2 camps. You have the Filipinos that are like just super like Asian, hang out with a bunch of like Asian people. Then you have the Filipinos that are just like thugged out and they hang out with like Latinos and blacks. So it's like, it's interesting. I honestly, that's something I've been fighting with my whole life. I'll let the audience decide. I don't see color.
Well,
I don't see color.
So what do you do at a stoplight? But so that makes me wonder. I think that's true. Like I said before, I think that's a question for like Twitter or Threads, because now there's a new app that's out now, an extension of Instagram.
Did you make it? You made Threads, right?
I did make a Threads. I did make a Threads. I'm up. I think I'm at now 7,900 followers at the current time of the taping.
That shit's an Adonis following be going hard,
I got
boy.
a strong following, man. They rock with me. But you're not that far off. I mean, you got more Instagram followers than me.
And TikTok.
And TikTok. I think I got you on YouTube and Threads.
Yeah.
On Twitter, I don't know. How much do you have on Twitter?
6K, 7K.
7K. Okay, I got 22. So I got
see?
you on Twitter. Okay, so we're leveling.
They rock with you everywhere. Because even on Threads, I'm at 5,200.
No post.
No post.
You have no post.
No, I got two. I
you
got
got two
posts.
Okay. Yeah, I got like I think maybe 9 or 10 or something like that. But I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. But I wanted to ask you because of course we touched on Zuck versus Elon, right? And it appears like this fight is.
Zuck is the biggest Elon hater of all time.
He's got to be.
Listen, that would be the equivalent. Like, let's say someone didn't like you and they just dropped like a chiseled Hercules channel just to compete with you. And it's an exact replica. They just take your videos word for word, post it on their channel, just because they don't like you. That's like literally what it is. He's
somebody named Sculpted Apollo or something like that.
Sculpted Apollo,
go after me or something. Like I can see it happening. But for whatever reason, with Zuck, I don't know, man. It like truly we're in a unique time. The battle of the billionaires, right? And it seems like they're going blow for blow. And now it's not just, okay, we might just have this fight. Man. We're going to go at each other with app creation.
At that point, you got to just give them the you have to fucking fight now.
Right.
You have to give them the hands. He literally just copied imagine dropping 44 billion on a brand and the dude just like, man, I just make one too.
Right.
Fuck you.
Right.
It's like, nah, at that point, and he was trolling him. He went on Twitter and tweeted that Spider-Man meme that like,
oh, the pointing.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, look, we're both in it now.
And he hasn't used Twitter in like 12 years, but he went on Twitter just to post that one meme and then dipped. Dude, it was crazy. So funny.
It's craziness, man. And that makes me wonder, like, do you think Threads can overtake Twitter?
Nah. Threads, I think the issue, like, people go, why are you on Twitter? Because I know for me, I'm on Twitter because of the fuck shit. Like, Twitter is just so funny.
Right, it's the ghetto of social media.
It's so
the ghetto of social media.
Like, so I saw one tweet, it was hilarious. It was so disrespectful. It was like a girl who had something like R.I.P. Dad.
Oh my God.
In her bio.
Oh.
And someone said something.
I know where this is going.
And she had a comment about it, so she replied to it. And then someone like comments back like, "What does your dad think about that?" Or like, yeah, it was bad, bro. It's like they'll bring anything into it.
And you know what's crazy? Because Twitter is the only social media platform where like you could post adult content or whatever. Yeah. So anytime you see somebody, whether it's on somebody who has an OnlyFans or something, the best comeback of all time on social media is this you. Right? Yeah, so the moment that somebody has like a strong opinion on something, ain't this you? What do your parents think of this? And they'll have a video of her or him doing any sort of nefarious act. It's hilarious. And I highly doubt they're gonna end up having that happen with Threads. No. Because I saw a tweet where they said Threads is the Twitter with no fun.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm very curious how that's gonna operate because now it will have been out for a month at the release of this episode. So I'm very curious how that's gonna work out.
It's like censored Twitter.
Right.
It's like, why would I have Twitter if it's not gonna be any fun? You know? And like, I remember Twitter used to be, this is a while ago when I first started, like 2013, it used to be bad, bro. Like,
oh yeah.
They used to just be doing crazy shit.
Yeah, because I got on in 2016 is when I created social media like across the board. Because I was on Facebook because I started out with like MySpace, Bebo, things like that. My brother was on Skonex. That's like for the relics of the world. Remember Skonex?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a while back. I think that was like 2004. And I remember just the maturation of social media, how it ended up growing. And then by the time I had gotten on Twitter, it was like this is in the height of 2016 leading into the presidential race. Like it was crazy. Twitter was all over the place. And then now it seems to be like the last hurrah of what social media used to be.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Twitter has always been great for determining people's thoughts. Because you look at, Twitter's like the only one where people get their true actual thoughts out, right? You look at Instagram, people are like, I'm so hot. Look at my cool shit. Like it's boring.
Right.
You go on TikTok, people are just flexing on there also. Twitter, that's where people are saying some weird shit.
Yeah.
That's when they're like, you know, there's white people saying the N-word on there.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Now that I think about it, that now has my mind running. Of everybody who's ever been canceled, primarily it's come from Twitter.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, I'll pull up this Instagram post from 2013. That's back when they just had like the photos.
Right.
And there was no real, I can't recall if they had, no, I think they had captions and everything back there, but there was no videos yet because videos got introduced in 2016 and everything. So for all intents and purposes, whenever somebody were to get canceled, they pull up the Twitter.
Because it's like they're putting their thoughts on there.
Right.
And that's the thing about a Twitter audience too. I tell people this, Instagram, they follow you for your looks. Twitter, they follow you for your mind.
Fair enough, because it's incredibly difficult to grow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I think of every single social media platform, if you have a large Twitter audience, then you've really made it.
Well,
you really have a personal brand. Well,
way-
outside of, YouTube, but YouTube is different.
Yeah, YouTube I think is the hardest, and that's like Twitter, but like video form.
Yeah.
Yeah, so YouTube is just Twitter, but video form, because you're getting your thoughts out, but you're speaking it in visual format. So YouTube is always gonna be the best.
Yeah.
Twitter's the second hardest, because now it's just your thoughts.
Yeah,
people gotta follow you. There's no cheat code there. You can't just be like, look at me, cool life, boom, instant. Like TikTok is the easiest, because I'll post a highlight, million views.
Right. Because
20,000
TikTok,
followers.
their algorithm, if they really have no algorithm.
Yeah.
Because YouTube, I almost never considered YouTube like social media per se.
You know what's crazy? YouTube and TikTok actually have the same algorithm.
Interesting.
But the only difference is, how hard is it to keep someone's attention for 1 minute? So easy. How hard is it to keep someone's attention for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
That's when you got to be a real good speaker.
Yeah, because that's the big time long form stuff. Because I think when YouTube in its inception, the very early years of it, like 2005 up until maybe 2011, nobody was really posting long form. I think at maximum, people's probably average video is maybe about like 5, 6, or maybe 4 to like 6 minutes. I can't recall any of the incredibly large YouTubers from back then who were posting very long videos. But if you look at like YouTube versus Twitter, I think nobody really cares too much about the community post on YouTube. Now they've started pushing the shorts and everything. Live streams have, really been able to compete with like a Twitch and stuff like that. But Twitter, I think it's the hardest, because YouTube, I never really considered it social media, but if you're posting videos, then by far YouTube's the hardest one to grow on. But truly growing a personal brand, Twitter's got to be it's craziness.
Still YouTube, because the thing is with Twitter, you could be shy and just sit behind the
Right, but then you gotta
YouTube,
promote.
you gotta face your fears of like talking to a camera.
But then with Twitter, they don't push people's tweets into like the algorithm. Like if you just randomly posting or whatever, because there's random people who've gone viral, but I think it just takes the right person to go and retweet or whatever the case is.
Not true. Because the way I see it, right? You know, there's 7 degrees. Twitter does something genius in this sense, right? And this is the guy, Jack, who invented Twitter. You know how there's the thing 7 degrees of separation?
Right.
As a human being, you're only 7 people away from any other person on the planet, which is crazy to think about. So Twitter takes advantage of that because I'm always 7 degrees away from everyone on the planet. Theoretically, by knowing just one person, I can reach the entire planet. Because let's say I know someone, they retweet it. And that person knows someone, they retweet it. And that person knows someone, they retweet it. Boom, you're there.
Yeah, that's enough to take you to where you gotta go.
Yeah, because right now when I look at it, right, I have a business partner who knows Dave Grutman, who has Jeff Bezos' phone number, who knows Elon Musk, who knows Mark Zuckerberg, who knows, I don't know, Dana White, who knows Conor McGregor, who knows Floyd Mayweather, who knows 50 Cent, who knows, like, just from one business partner, I've connected myself to the entire world already. So that's the craziest part about social media. I think Twitter is the first one to actually take advantage of that. So I don't think it's too hard to get reach on that. I genuinely think YouTube is harder.
You know what? Actually, I think you've just changed my mind on it, because I'm thinking about it now. Twitter, at least you can immediately reshare onto the very same platform.
Yep.
YouTube, you can't really retweet. You can share the post, but if you share it on your page and there's no traction to what you have going on, then you're in a situation like who's watching. Like
YouTube,
if you don't post videos,
algorithm.
it's over, right? So let's just say if you're just an avid consumer of content, you don't put anything out, then there'll be no traction that goes towards you.
Yeah.
Twitter, you can be somebody who's a consumer, you're just retweeting or you're just posting and nobody's there. And then all it takes is one person to see it, they share, and now you have that 7. So yeah, I think I changed my mind on it. That's interesting. That's it, because I had never thought about it in that manner. Because I always looked at it like, man, with YouTube, you're creating video. You have to create content in order to grow on YouTube. You can't be somebody who's just in every comment section. Now, granted, you could get some people who go and follow or whatever, but they're not going to be seeing, oh, this person just commented here, this person just commented there, let's go and like that comment. They're there for content. Versus like Twitter, if you're in a situation where it's like, all right, I'm posting, then you reshare all this other stuff. It just take one person to see it and then you grow.
Think about how much more work goes into a YouTube video versus a tweet.
Right.
I put out 10 tweets a day, easy. Boop, 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 tweet, boom, tweet, boom, tweet. YouTube videos, bro, it takes hours.
Hours.
It takes hours of your day, so it's like, who's really gonna do that just to get a message out? Just for no one to see it.
Right.
Just because you have to rely on the algorithm to push you. So that's kind of my take on it. YouTube's always gonna be the best. As far as Twitter versus Threads, I don't know, man. Cause like I think people kind of like being independent from the Facebook Meta world. You know, they don't want to be like Zuck's bitch. You know,
yeah, because that ecosystem is incredibly strong. Because you know how many people don't even know that Instagram and Facebook is linked?
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. They're like, oh man, you know, nobody's using Facebook no more. Facebook is dead. We're all on Instagram. You know, it's the same. It's the same.
WhatsApp.
They're linked together. Like, it's craziness.
They own WhatsApp also.
Yep. Yeah, I did see that.
So they own WhatsApp. And the craziest part is on Instagram, like right now, everyone, if you have a Threads account, on your Instagram, you were forced to fucking advertise your Threads.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part. That's how they got like all these users.
Yeah, I think, what was it? It was maybe 100 mil to 200 mil.
It was like 100 million
maybe even
users.
more, maybe 300 mil. I don't know what it was, but all I saw there was an article said it was the highest.
I don't know if it's gonna stick though, because the thing is, like I said, you got all these users because they wanted to see what was up. But like, I'm not gonna lie, I downloaded Threads. I haven't gone on there once. I've gone on Twitter. I probably spend like 20 minutes a day on Twitter. Threads, I don't even check it at all.
Yeah, my time frame on Twitter is 37 minutes per day. I give myself 37 minutes to be an absolute menace on Twitter. But then now with Threads, I honestly, I go on there, I post, I leave. Only because I said, you know what, it's a new platform. I missed when Snapchat had first came out. I didn't want to. I'm like, what the hell is this? But I didn't know Snapchat was growing like that, and you could have leveraged an audience over there. Then with Instagram, when it had started, I didn't make one until 2016. It came out like 2011, 2012. I didn't make one then. And then of course YouTube. Back when I was in high school, I wanted to make videos. I'm like, I got a shitty webcam. What am I supposed to do here with this? Let me not do anything. I should have been started back then. So once they announced Threads, I'm like, I'm not going to miss the wave with this. But I do agree. They need to come up with something that makes it dynamic.
Something that makes it different.
Unique. Because if it's just, you know, Twitter East type of situation, it's not going to perform.
That's what's happened to Instagram Reels, is just TikTok leftovers.
Yeah.
People will make TikToks and then just dump the leftovers on Instagram Reels.
But the positive, at least with the Instagram Reels, is because there's so much users that's already on Instagram, now when you post those videos and it's on, you can immediately grow. Like, at least there's that. I think with Threads, nobody knows the algorithm. Like, now it's been 4 weeks and they're still sitting there thinking to themselves, like, all right, everybody's just posting. What is the metric? How does it hit the algorithm? How are you growing? Because it seems like the only people who are viewing the thread post is your own audience. How do you get people who are there? Because I'm not following anybody on Threads. And I have almost 10K followers on Threads just by people just coming over. But then, do I have to follow people? Do I not have to follow people? Do I have to have the audience re-thread? Because it's not retweet, so it's re-thread. Like, I don't know, but everybody's trying to figure out whatever the algorithm is. Because if they can make themselves dynamic now, I think Twitter would be somewhat in trouble, because you have the monster that is Meta, and then, or I should say Instagram in itself, and then Threads become a monster of its own. Now it's like, all right, I got to one up on Elon. So of course it goes back to the fight, but still.
Elon he had no choice, bro. You got to fight him now. Listen, if somebody did that to me, I don't care what you say. I'm fighting you.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. You got to, because it's like, it truly, like I said before, you know, it's the battle of the billionaires. We've never had so much. I think Zuck has upped his, and you talked about this off camera, his charisma, his appeal.
Zuck changed the game.
It's incredible, because everybody thought he
got
was just
that
this
iOS update. He got the iOS
Yeah, he did. He really did.
He's seen like the public discourse, and they're like, man, Zuck's a lizard boy, pussy, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, man, let me download this information. He plugged himself into his computer at night. He went to sleep. He woke up. He's like, MMA,
Right? Because he's such a nerd. No, he's a Chad. He was a Chad.
He got jacked. He does MMA now. Everyone fucking like loves him because he's on social media trolling. There was something that said, it was Wendy's. Of course it was Wendy's.
No, of course.
Wendy's puts, Zuck, you should go to space just to make him even more mad.
Oh my God. Could you imagine that? Like he takes a selfie in space, like, and you can see the Tesla in the background in space. He's like, oh, I'm here, I'm in your hood.
You should go to space and put an Instagram sticker on the Tesla.
Right,
That's in space.
And what's so beautiful about it is he has so much money and so much reach to where he can do it. Because now I think truly social media across the globe, people love trolls. People absolutely love trolls. That's why
Elon, I think he's the most followed Twitter account.
Right.
And the craziest part is this is before he even bought Twitter.
Yep.
He was already the most followed Twitter account.
Oh really? I didn't know that. I knew after he bought it that he became the most followed. I didn't know before he was.
I think he was already there. and he was like, yo, I love this. So that's why he bought it. But people love the trolling.
Right.
Because it adds dimension. Like people can't relate to a billionaire. You're Zuckerberg, you're a genius. No one's gonna be able to relate to you.
Right.
But now it's like, oh, regular guy just doing MMA, trolling on social media. They're like, yeah. Like there's guys out there like, I do MMA and troll on social media.
Yep. Exactly.
You're just like me. And they like it.
Create that relatability. That's the biggest thing. Once you have that relatability, like, wait, I troll, you troll, we troll, let's go follow this person.
Yeah.
So I really hope, I like that idea. Go to space, if you're Zuck, go to space, put a meta sticker right on top of the on top of the Tesla, and then make him your bitch. And
at that point, Elon got to bring a gun to the fight.
Yeah, you can't. Well, you might. You might.
Was it Degrassi where he pulls the gun?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
At that point, that's Elon. Like,
or maybe Elon takes out like a different weapon, like, all right, I'll take out some nunchucks.
That flamethrower that he had.
Could you imagine? Oh, Zuck would get burned to a crisp. That'd be bad for Meta.
Yeah.
That'd be bad for Meta. So then now, really, they wouldn't have any employees. They'd have to really turn to AI across the board.
Yeah. But it's just so funny about the trolling. Like, I live for the trolling. I like it. I think that's how, because here's the thing. If I do that shit, if I respond to someone on social media, like, why are you responding to someone? Aren't you too grown up for this? I'm like, motherfucker, the richest person on the planet is sitting here trolling people. You think I'm too rich for it? He's too rich for it. I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyways.
I think more people probably won't take the high road now. Like everybody's like, oh no, we're at the same level now.
Why do I gotta be the bigger person? I seen the tweet, I will get so little.
Right.
Why do I gotta be the bigger person? I'll get so small.
Right? I'm a little person.
I'm a little person.
Right? Give me a size 2 shoe. Good God. But now that makes me wonder, because I saw an article, right? He said, I'll pivot here. I saw an article where they were talking about how there was a CEO, I forget who it was, right? I didn't get a chance to go and read thoroughly through, but I did see the headline, and a lot of people were up in arms about it, because there was a CEO who fired 90% of his staff and replaced them with AI. So I would love to know, what are your thoughts on good AI, bad AI? How do you feel about AI as a whole?
Man, so the way I look at it, if we're gonna compare this historically throughout time, people were mad about tractors. They're gonna replace farmers. I'm like, motherfucker, you used to have slaves that had to do this shit. Now you have a little car that goes bzzz, boom, done, right? So it replaced all of the work that people had to do. And what did people do? It created new jobs.
Right.
Because now you need tractor operators, right? And what they did is it also doubled the output, tripled the output, quadrupled the output. So now you have, let's say you're using tractors for food. You now have 10 times more food. So no one's starving anymore. There's new jobs. And before, you didn't have as much food, so people had to starve if they didn't work. Now it's like, no matter what, even in this country, if you're homeless in the United States, they don't just let you die. They don't let you die if you're homeless in the United States. They literally give you like a stipend, like, here, go get some food, right? Like, there's so much money and food around because of the technological advancement that now no one fucking starves here. Everyone has food, even if you don't do anything.
Well, access to food. 'Cause I think there are some homeless where they just, I don't know if they don't, I don't want to say they don't qualify, but there are some who are just out there, just like that. We're not doing anything today. Like, I guess those are the bums. The homeless thing, those are the bums.
So think about it like this, though. Those people in the days of where you had to like hunt for your own food.
Right.
The fuck are they gonna do? If
it's over at that point. Yeah. Survival of the fittest.
If you can't go get $5 and go get your ass to a McDonald's and give them $5 to get some food, what, like, you're gonna catch a lion and eat it?
Right.
Hell no.
Yeah, in the days of eat what you kill, you know, those are the individuals you don't make it. Right.
So to talk more about the AI, I feel like it's just doing that on a more advanced level.
Right.
Because let's say you have a customer support job, a robot is now like replaced you, you got to figure out something else. You got to control the AI now. You got to do the prompts for the AI. You got to program the AI. You're going to need more programmers. You're going to need more engineers. You're going to need more builders. You're going to need more innovators. You're going to need more entertainers. Because that's the stuff that can't be replaced.
Right.
You can never have a AI chiseled Adonis.
Right.
Because whatever you do is so specific to you. It's God-given. And AI, unfortunately, is created by humans, not created by God. So it's never going to be able to do what you do.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting so afraid. And I actually look at it, this is a good thing. Because of course you have the lower level kind of employment that exists there that can be replaced like that. But then now you have to get creative. Because I think if you're somebody who's doing the bare minimum just to get by in life, we're starting to get to a point where you can't just be that anymore. There's only so many places that you can be that bare minimum spot. So now you have to get creative, figure out what is it that you can do. Because truly, with the AI, I think a lot of people in tech, there's going to be so much more jobs that open up there. But then customer service, different sort of operators of different sort of that nature, they're going to end up losing those positions.
Yeah.
And even with editors now, because with AI,
I saw a video.
Now you can, because I had it happen with me. I went to like this tryItonAI.com website because I saw somebody else had posted, oh, well, I got some headshots or whatever. I've been procrastinating on getting new headshots for years. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go and plug some photos in here. Immediately, they had me look like a young Kevin Hart who didn't make it. They had me looking like I was some sort of lawyer, injury attorney. I thought I was Celino and Barnes. Like it was something like that. It was craziness. So I'm sitting there like, oh man, wait a minute. So now for photographers or editors or whatever the case is, I'm very curious what's gonna happen with them, because if they're able to now have AI operate at a level that it rivals some of the best editors, some of the best photographers, I'm very curious how they're gonna all pivot.
So I experimented with the editing software of like AI, plug in a video, it spits out like something coherent. And there's one thing I realized, I don't think it's ever gonna replace an actual human editor.
100%.
Because something beautiful about human editors, they have emotion. And when you create content, you can make a movie. I've seen a movie, what was it? It was a movie. Might have been the second Space Jam. I cried because of the second Space Jam, because LeBron was being a good father, and I was like, I never had a father. I want LeBron to be my dad. Like I was like.
Oh, so what did you feel watching Pursuit of Happiness?
Dog, that shit fucked me
Pain.
up too.
Oh,
I wanted to throw up.
Oh.
you know when you cry so hard that you feel like
right?
You start wanting to throw up. I wanted to throw up.
Good God, pain.
I'm
sorry to hear. I enjoyed the movie.
You're like, oh yeah.
No, I actually.
I like watching him struggle.
Right. Oh no, it was pain. I cried too. It's one of the. There's two scenes in there. There was when he was inside the bathroom. Bathroom. There was that one that was there, and he's holding the door as they're trying to get inside. That was one. And then the second one for me is when he was running down the steps after he got the job. That was the moment for me. I'm like that's truly what happiness is. So I've always envisioned in my life, I want to recreate that moment. But obviously, it can't just be okay. Here's some stairs that say, let me run down these stairs and cry. That's corny. Somebody would do that for a TikTok and get some views. But I always wanted to like have that moment so you can feel that's what happiness is.
So a good editor, I think, can take footage like that. Because if you were to look at the whole like unedited thing, you just see Will Smith like,
right.
If an AI did it could have fucked it up.
Yeah, exactly. It'd take out that emotion.
Ruin the entire thing. But someone editing it could cut it up and like they'd be like, wow, look what we just fucking made.
Right.
They feel it. And I think if you're a good editor, like if you're just one of these shitty guys that just cut, here you go, you're getting replaced. But if you're someone that's very passionate about what you do, can create captivating moments, you'll never be able to get replaced.
Because that's the thing. I looked at I've done the same. I went to, I think it was video.ai. I think that's what one of it was, where they had like the AI editors. And I plugged in a video and it would just cut like what they believe to be some of the best moments in the video.
Yeah.
And although we can have disagreements on what those moments may be, but it would have a very cold closing or it'd have a cold opening. Like it wouldn't captivate or catch the thing. And then to make matters worse, it wouldn't add in like music or stuff like that. So depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and I agree with you 110%, if you're an editor or you're somebody or photographer who does just the bare minimum, it's over for you. But if you actually have very dynamic, a performance, I should say, behind what it is that you do, now you'll be able to survive. Because you were talking about this earlier where AI now, you can almost generate what people will look like in the future.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me because I saw, I think it was like a couple of years ago where they said this is what the human is gonna look like.
Yeah.
In like 2000, or what was it? I think it was like, no, the year 3000.
I know what you're talking
and there was a
about.
bunch of jokes like, oh, this is just a product of Nick Cannon semen. But I'm so curious, like, what do you think about like the photos of the future?
Yo, I feel like AI is low-key like gaslighting people because it's making them hope, and this is a good thing, it's making them hopeful for the future. So there's one right now where it says, let me predict how your baby will look. And it'll like predict people's babies. And I remember my girl made one. I was like, oh, this is so cute. Like we should have a kid now. Like I want that, right? But then I was on Instagram and I feel so mean saying this. I saw a girl.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, she ugly.
good God.
Ugly girl.
She did the same thing. She did the same thing.
And she posted it.
Oh.
A baby. She's like, my future kid looks so cute. And I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, why does that kind of look like my kid?
Damn, they're using the same.
They're using the same
template.
It's the same frame, but they put like maybe like your little face on it. And I'm like,
Wait.
man.
But now that makes me wonder. So was the baby that she posted was also a good-looking baby?
Yeah.
Looked somewhat similar to the baby that would have been a product of your semen.
Yeah.
So maybe it is AI saying, perhaps you might just have two children by two different women.
Yeah, man. See, I don't know about that. I don't think there's any. I think that's where AI goes wrong. That's the bad of AI. You said the good and the bad?
Right.
That's the bad of
Maybe
AI.
they're saying you're going to have a rough night with some tequila.
Bro,
and then you're going to end up wherever she might be.
I seen that baby and I was like, hey, yo, AI is lying to your face. AI is a manipulative husband.
Right, it's like it doesn't match with what's happening here. You're lying to yourself.
AI was like literally trying to make them feel good about themselves. And I was like, yo, okay, here we go. So once I seen that, I was like, man, AI is lying, it's gaslighting you. But here's the reason that's so addictive. Because let's say you're someone that's insecure. You might not like how you look. You plug yourself into this AI, and AI makes you handsome, takes away all your imperfections. Now you're like, man, I love AI, because you get a boost. You're like, I look like that.
Right.
This is what the AI, based off my looks, made me look like that.
Yeah.
And people are a little bit delusional. They don't want to accept the truth, right? Because I saw my AI. I did an AI of me, and like you said, like it made me look like a Kevin Hart that never made it. Like I saw mine, I look like fucking handsome. I'm like, yo, I look good. Made my jawline stronger. It made my beard connect. Like my beard doesn't connect, but it made it connect on the AI. I'm like gaslighter. You're making me feel better about myself. Because you get that dopamine hit, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I look like
literally, I think that's probably what it is, because even now on dating apps, I know a lot of people are running into this, where they're having conversations with AI. They're swiping right on AI. They're in relationships with AI.
That's crazy.
Incredible. Because, like, could you imagine, like, remember when Catfish was at its peak? I think this was probably the mid-2010s when they had the show going crazy. And these people were thinking, all right, I'm dating this person, but you just take a photo of somebody else. But that person at least exists.
Yeah.
This time around with AI, nobody exists. You're talking to a creation, a computer, if you will. It's like you're playing a video game when they had the CPU, you're going against like an NPC, but now it's a human NPC.
You know what a crazy business model would be? Listen, whoever's watching this, I got a business model idea from you, from the Filipino prince tycoon himself. Here's a great business model, and if no one does it, I'll do it. It should be like AIgirlfriend.com or like findagirlfriend.com. And all it is AI avatar girlfriends run by like ChatGPT on the back end that you program to talk like a girl, right? Like have ChatGPT study 100 hours of women speaking, right? It could be anyone. Then you do like an AI avatar of them, and you let people date these women. You be like, hey, this will be your girlfriend for $97 a month. And all of these losers that are lonely were like, yeah, I want a robot AI girlfriend. They'll pay $97 a month to have this beautiful avatar woman talk to them the entire time. And now you just have a computer running the entire thing, and these guys are fucking talking. You have 1,000 dudes talking to these robot girlfriends, and your computer just running in the background, fulfilling everything for them. Boom, $100,000 a month.
Yeah, truly it does, because there's a lot of people who ran like webcam, they did stuff like that, but it was another person who was actually running it.
Yeah.
If it's now ran through AI, I don't know if there's people who's already doing it, because it sounds like a good business model for sure.
Yeah.
Because especially if on the front end, you let the people know, hey, you can have an AI partner. So that there's no deception behind the scenes of, oh, well, you think you're talking to a human, you're not.
Yeah.
If I tell you up front, hey, for this amount, this is the premium, you can have an AI partner, and they still go and subscribe. I see no harm, no foul. You can't say you were deceived. You can't say you didn't know what's going on.
And then like, I'm thinking about even the messaging. It's like unlimited messaging. So like, oh my God, unlimited, I get to talk to this AI girlfriend forever. And then you can get real crazy with it, and then you can start making it play games, like have it wait 2 hours to text back.
Right. You can do a lot.
Now
And then the people who have like humiliation kink or whatever, you can have the AI write back, just degrading things, and oh man, that turns me on. I have erection. So the things like that.
You can make the AI be like, oh, sorry, I was texting my friend. And then the person's like, you're texting your friend, you're an AI, like getting mad at the AI, yo, bro.
Oh, dude, now my mind's running. Because I'm thinking you can make a bundle. You could have like them send like one of those like iRobot sex dolls or stuff like that, but then you could have it like remote controlled, so then the AI would have like functions that's immediately has it over there. Like, oh no, slap that person or whatever the case is. So I don't know. This is interesting. There's a lot that you can go with that.
So much like business opportunity. And the craziest part, there's also AI voice.
Yeah.
So now you can add a voice of any woman on the planet. Like if you want an AI that sounds like Scarlett Johansson, you can upload, I don't know, an hour of Scarlett Johanssin talking, and then it'll give you a voice of Scarlett Johansson.
First name that came to my mind was Scarlett Johansson too. Like right before you said it, I was gonna say, oh, we're in sync.
You know, what was that class we had in high school? What did we have in high school? Chemistry. Yeah, we had chemistry. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's right. Did I pass chemistry? No, I think I dropped out of chemistry. I might have dropped out of chemistry. I don't think I needed it to go and graduate. The more you know. Interesting. AI girlfriend.
Bro, that's a great business idea. There's so much money to be made in the world, but people are just lazy.
100%. Like that now, how many different business models could we do? AI, create, rent a girlfriend.
I mean, the easiest one is AI girlfriend for sure. And then literally when they try to cancel their subscription, they get a message from the girlfriend like, hey, are you breaking up with me? Bro!
Oh, God!
Like, the ideas are just going now!
Are you kidding me? Oh, my God.
Money printer!
We gonna make some money here. Somebody
and then, bro, oh, even better. And then after they cancel for a month, the AI girlfriend messages them at 2 a.m., hey, you up?
Dude, this is up.
And then they try to message back, and it says like, oh, you have to renew your subscription. Would you like to renew your subscription for $97 a month? 2 a.m., they're lonely. They're like, man, fuck it. Boom. Right. Renew, and you just get them back again.
Yeah, AI could start gaslighting them, things of that nature. You don't really like me anymore. Stuff like that. Oh, man, it's so much. Man, it could work. I don't know what I want to eat today. This is perfect. Have you drank any water? This is perfect. I like this.
Checks in on them, yeah.
Right. I like this. This is like a money printer right here.
That's such a good idea, right?
The new era Tamagotchi.
Right, right, 100%. Like this is a good idea. AI girlfriend.
AI girlfriend, that's it. I'm gonna check the domain right now, actually.
Yeah, check it. If nobody got it,
I'm buying that shit.
Let me talk to the audience, right? Let me talk to the audience right now. Listen, rentagirlfriend.com or rentagirlfriend.ai, whatever the case may be. Y'all better go and run this place. Somebody better go out there and set up the framework to go and make AI girlfriends, because I promise you right now, there's a money printer. It's not like you're deceiving the people. If you tell them up front, hey, this is what the situation is.
It's a premium AI.
It's a premium AI?
It costs 200 grand.
200 grand?
Yeah.
Oh. 200 grand, but how much would you make on the back end? You probably make that 200 grand in a month.
I mean, you probably make that in a month or two.
Probably make it in a month.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people who, they'd go bankrupt. Could you imagine people going into debt to have an AI girlfriend? Like you run up American Express, you just 50,000 in the hole. You're going to the casino to win money so you can go and keep an AI girlfriend. There's people who would do it.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
This is crazy. That's such a good business idea. I mean, I'm gonna play with that because I found another one and it's fire. I'm not gonna say it out here because someone's gonna buy it before me. It's 20 grand, but listen, it might be worth the investment.
Might be. Hey, this could be a business venture.
That's a crazy business idea. So yeah, guys, there's a lot of ways to make money, especially with AI. I just thought about that right now, to be honest. But the opportunity to make money, just anytime something new comes out. Going back to our main question. With AI, now there's a new way to make money. Because I guarantee someone's gonna pull that off. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we're gonna look back on this podcast. I'm gonna say I invented the idea. Someone's gonna own this business. It's gonna be $1 billion business. I'm gonna be like, yo, I made that up on the podcast, on the spot.
Right. It could be one of you.
It could be one of you.
It could literally be one of you.
But if it's one of you, I want a seat on the board. I want some equity. I want maybe a nice compensation package.
Right, that'd be great. It'd be hilarious. They send you like an AI girlfriend, like, hey, listen, I want you to see the product of your thoughts, something of that nature. That'd be craziness.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I really hope somebody runs the play. I hope somebody runs the play, because if you don't, we will.
Yeah, we will.
We will. We definitely will. Oh, AI girlfriend, I like that. And then push that on Threads, push that on Twitter.
Push it on social media.
Push it on social media.
I mean, that's the key to the game now. Any business you start is just on social media.
Right.
On social media, post anything.
Get people to subscribe, join the group.
Yeah. What do you think stops people from like actually starting these businesses though?
What stops them? Well, they have a lot of limiting beliefs. A lot of times people think they don't have money. A lot of people think they don't have direction. A lot of people don't believe that they have the consistency.
Where do these limiting beliefs come from? Like, what do you think? How do you overcome these things?
How do you overcome it? Well, for one, you have to have a plan. You have to identify what it is that you want to do. Of course, we've talked in the past about like identifying your why, but I think ultimately what your goals aren't that far from what you think, right? So what you can do is write down what you believe you want to accomplish. Then at that point, you start to Google the solutions to your problems or whatever the case is, and you'll be able to map out an outline. Like for example, if you say, all right, I want to start a business, but I don't have any money. Great, you don't have money now. The banks do. Go get some credit, right? Identify the different sort of, whether it's the interest rates that they have those cars that have 0% interest for the entire year. Great, get those, because that can buy you time. All you have to do is just minimum payments, then you just keep loading on the card. Of course, you have to pay the money back.
Yeah.
But it gives you access to the money you didn't have to start your business. So with funding, go to different banks, go to credit unions, get your access to money. Then framework and everything, YouTube University, Google University. Download and buy a course as well, because I always say what you should do is try to get access to as much free content as you can. Once you get to the point where you've consumed all of the free content that you can, and you may have found an individual mentor, coach, whatever the case is, who is in the same space that you're actually interested in, then you can upgrade from free to paying somebody, whether you're buying their course, you're joining their masterclass, or perhaps you join their mentorship. Then you get to that level. But the first thing that you should do is get your access to funding. Don't get any cards that you have to pay like annual fees or whatever. Get the cards where even if you don't use it, hey, no harm, no foul, it is what it is. Because everybody's got credit, but if you don't use credit, that's one thing. If you have credit and you don't use it, what are you doing?
The thing is, this is, I think, the trap, though. This is the trap. This is me just coming from LA, seeing this trap happen to a lot of people. Shit, happened to my dad. The issue with credit is when you give someone, let's say someone that's fresh, never grew up with any money, you give them access to 10 grand. First thing they do, I'm a baller now, let's run it up. Boom, 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 boom. Now they're 10 grand in debt, they can't pay it back. Guess what happens? They're fucked.
Repossess your stuff.
It's a trap. And this is why there's the big divide between the people that get richer. Because if you're a kid, you grow up in a not so good environment. First thing you do when you get 10 grand, you blow it all, you don't pay it back, you fuck up your credit for the rest of your life, you're fucked. Right? Whereas a kid with a good guidance, mommy and daddy protecting them, they have the credit and they don't spend it because they're more frugal. But even if they do spend it, mommy and daddy bail them out and teach them, give them a slap on the wrist, teach them a lesson. The kids that don't have that environment where they just get a new credit, they get $10,000, they run it up, they fuck up their credit forever. It's like a vicious cycle. So it's like, at the end of the day, I think it all comes down to education.
Right.
But credit is a trap. And it's one of those things that separates a lot of people, the rich and the poor. That's why
especially if you don't know how to use it. So like you said, education is the biggest thing. So that's why I always say, hey, if you feel like you don't have access to money, you do. But when you get the money, please don't think you don't have to pay it back. Because there's a lot of people who I know who they have credit cards or whatever. They're like, oh man, I'm afraid to use it because then what if I might not pay it back on time or whatever. Fam, be responsible. You have an understanding of, hey, the bank is giving you access to this cash. You use that cash for something. You got to have a goal. Don't go and spend money that you don't have for things that you can't afford. That's foolish.
And I think but the craziest part, that applies to a regular person. It doesn't apply to ultra rich people.
Right.
You look at Donald Trump, he spent money he didn't have. And then he was like, man, well shit, should I just go bankrupt? All the debt's gone. And now everybody's fucked. So what happens? Like, all right, fine, we'll give you more money to make it work out because we don't want to lose our investment. So it's weird, it's unfortunate, but if you're broke, you gotta play by a different set of rules than someone that's rich.
Exactly. But then the beautiful thing is just understanding the rules. Like money is a game. Money is an absolute game.
It's a game.
It's an absolute game. And if you want to play the money game, you got to know the rules. So once you brief yourself on the rules, you understand the tax code, you understand the different sort of banks, you understand the cards, you understand credit, you understand all this other stuff. Now you have leverage to play.
Yeah.
The moment that you start to learn that, and that's all free information. You don't have to pay for it. You can find tax code, all this other stuff for free. You don't have to pay for any of that stuff. You just identify what works for you, what can you take advantage of right now, and as you continue to grow, you start to take advantage of more and more and more, and then you'll find yourself in a position to where you can do whatever the hell it is that you want. And when you have goals in business or whatever it may be that you want to go and you want to accomplish, those limiting beliefs, it's just a matter of start. Right? And then, of course, while you start, you stay consistent, you commit to the commitment of consistency, things of that nature, you stay on top of things. But you have to make sure you educate yourself. So with the people who have the limiting beliefs, they're afraid to start, because I've seen some comments, people on our past podcasts, where they're like, man, you know, there was one guy, just finished college. And he's like, I don't know what I want to go into. Well, when you went into college, you should have had in your mind, have the end in mind. What is the end, best case scenario job that you were looking into? But you finished graduating, great. Now that you're done with school, you actually are still in a good spot. You can identify where it is that you want to go. So with that being the case, you say, all right, write down what it is that you're interested in or what it is that you want to go into, then start mapping out the plan to get in there. If you want to run your own business, great. You probably, getting out of college, you're not going to have any money. So what cards can I get access to at this stage in my life? Then figure out a different sort of plan, 6-month plan, or maybe 3-month, 4-month, 6-month, 10-month plan, year plan, how you can pay back the money that you're going to go and use. Educate yourself. Go to Renee Lacaze's YouTube channel if you're going to go into e-com. Watch that 0 to 300,000 on Unlimiter and everything, and then just study. Go and purchase a course or whatever the case may be. Apply that, and then slowly but surely you'll find yourself running howtogetaGirlfriend.ai.com. So you know, that's how you do it.
That's how he gave you. Like I gave you the idea, he gave you the blueprint. You can go now. No, but I gotta address that too. So I posted a video on our YouTube channel, the shorts, and I said, if you are broke, you're selfish, because it's your fault. You need to take care of your family. It's your responsibility. And I saw one of the comments, and I hate to sound like a dickhead, because I think it was one of the people that follows you, and he's gonna be like, man, chisel down, man, fuck that guy. What?
How you know it's my guy?
Because my people know better, because my people don't ever come to me like that, because they know I'm gonna roast their ass.
Oh, really?
You know,
I roast my people too.
Okay, fair. So he said, well, no, because you don't understand my life. I have a different life, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, and I think you brought Pursuit of Happiness earlier. The motherfucker had a kid, and he was trying to make money. They were homeless. They had to sleep on the bathroom floor. But that just proves that it's possible, because he made it.
Right.
He made it. That just proves that it's possible. But the only reason people hate taking accountability, they always want to blame something else outside. Oh, you don't know my life. You don't know my situation. It's not my fault. When I hear it's not my fault, that's the biggest red flag ever. It's not my fault. I'm broke, but it's not my fault. It is your fault, right? Given, under certain circumstances, if you were born in a third world country, I get it. But even then, like, I start to get a little bit less, because you have the internet now. Cool thing, there's a guy in the Philippines, he does like finance stuff, and he's living a good life in the Philippines. Because of the internet. You know, he makes all his money on the internet. He got one of these little machines where I think if someone puts in like coins, that it gives them Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So like people will pay like 25 cents and they'll get Wi-Fi for 15 minutes. And people will do it because they can afford that in other countries like that. And it pays his rent. So that being said, if someone could do that in a third world country, I feel like you could do it anywhere.
It goes back to what we talked about before. And it's not that everybody doesn't have to be an entrepreneur, right? Everybody doesn't have to be an entrepreneur, but it comes down to finding solutions to problems. And I think that guy who was in the Philippines thought very genius of it. Okay, great. There's some people who really want Wi-Fi here, or whatever the case may be. Let's set up some sort of, system to where, all right, you plug in some coins, you get 15 minutes or whatever. All right, cool. If I have $1, I got an hour of Wi-Fi. So you could take that hour of Wi-Fi, research different sort of solutions to other problems, then you apply that, now you have a business model. You make that business model operate. Soon enough, if let's just say you get that Wi-Fi for an hour, but you make sure for that full 60 minutes, you're locked in. You're not just, I'm going to go on Instagram or whatever. You're really locked into what it is that you're doing. You can literally say, all right, I'll spend $3 a day. Take 3 hours up on Google or whatever the case is. fill my mind with as much knowledge as I possibly can. Oh, but the minimum wage over there, let's just say somebody's getting paid like $3 an hour. Great, I just used wages from 1 hour out of my day to try to fill my mind with as much knowledge as I can, and now I can go and apply it.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody is at a position where they're like, man, you know, I have nowhere to go, I don't know where to go, start, or whatever the case is, you have to almost reverse engineer your mind because you're looking at it the wrong way.
Yeah, because I think people just have this terrible mindset. Like, for you, what was the turning point in your mindset? Because you right now, I think your audience loves this new look, because usually you're super funny on the internet, but when they watch the podcast, they're like, I like this new look, this chiseled Adonis Jay-Z era.
Right.
You know, like, what was the turning point in your mindset? Like, what made it click for you from being just funny to now being like more entrepreneur minded? Because you look at comedians, there's some people that are just funny, they're comedians, but they're not about that life. But you look at someone like a Kevin Hart, he's a comedian, but he's also a mogul. He's also a businessman. He's also a tycoon.
Right.
So what was the turning point in your mindset that made it all click?
First post that I ever did on Facebook. Okay. So I started with stand-up in February of 2016.
Yeah.
And then I was in a dark room, about like 15, maybe 16 people. And I'm sitting there doing the set or whatever the case is, got off the stage, and there was maybe about like one, maybe two people or something like that. Hey, man, really like what you got going on over there. Where can I find you? Whatever. I'm like, shit, I ain't got no social media. So then the following month in March, I created social media across the board. But what made it interesting for me was when my very first video, I'm driving to the gym, rant inside of the car, then I got 1,000 views. So I said, okay, this is interesting. So social media, there's more of an audience that just so happens to be there. Then from that point, I said to myself, all right, I'll start posting more consistently. As I was posting and I'm growing an audience online, I said, wait a minute. So if I have this audience that's following me here online, I can accelerate, you know, whatever amount of wages that I would like to earn or the notoriety versus going into a club and having the people come to me. I can just go to where the people are at. Yeah. Then I started looking at like Kevin Hart on his ascension, because around this time, he was already going into film, but then I saw he was primarily inside of film at this point because he was doing more movies than he was stand-up at that point. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And then he started with different businesses. So then I started looking at it like, wait a minute, I can't be somebody who's just a comedian. I can't just be that. I've got to figure out what the game is. And then I looked at pay. I looked at people on jets, yachts, all this other stuff. I never wanted to be somebody who could keep up with the Joneses. Yeah. But the mindset shift was seeing you could be more than what it is that you're doing. And then I started seeing some of like colleagues that I had gone to college with or whatever the case is. They're working regular jobs, but then they got a side hustle going. Yeah. And then in the side hustle now, they're having their side hustle replace their income or whatever they got going on. I had a friend of mine who was in construction, and he spent maybe about 7 years going and freaking scaling ladders and doing scaffolding and all this other stuff. And he said, wait a minute, hold on. I can try to compete with the schools where vocational schools, they'll have a situation where you go through a lot of apprenticeship while you're in school, then you get your OSHA, whatever the case is, you go straight into the workforce. What if I educate people on how to go from being a worker to teaching people the ins and outs of being in in this blue collar kind of work? So with that being the case, I had a friend of mine who did it in construction. I had a friend of mine who did it in plumbing. Now they've got businesses to where they're just teaching people the entire thing. So they're like trying to not replace school, but they've done did it. And now they're running a business model.
They've done did it.
Yeah, so I look at it now like, okay, wait a minute. So there was a shift in the mindset of you could be more than just one thing. Yeah. And then I started looking at athletes. Where you have somebody like a Tom Brady. It went from just, I'm not a quarterback, I'm a brand. LeBron James, I'm not a small forward, I'm a brand. Michael Jordan, I'm not a shooting guard, I'm a brand, right? And I started looking across the board. I said, oh, wait a minute. I think this is where I have to expand my horizons. I'm not just somebody who's on YouTube just posting content. I can become a personal brand. And then now I'm the Chiseled Adonis. So there's more people know me from social media than they do in like the personal life. And the beautiful thing is like they address me, like, oh wow, that's a Chiseled Adonis over there. I was just at in July, I was over in the early July, I was over in BlurredCon in Virginia. And I got recognized 84 times.
Oh, you were
while I was out there.
tallying that thing up, huh?
Yeah, I was, because at first, when it reached the second day, I started thinking back to myself. And I have a very photographic memory, but it's in a very short span.
Yeah.
So when that was the case, I said, okay, let me start to think back. How many people did I run into? And then 84 was the exact number. So I started keeping track.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I said, all right, bam, I was getting stopped. I was with one of my friends. I was getting stopped like damn near the whole weekend. I was getting stopped. Didn't matter whether it was morning, evening, afternoon. I kept getting stopped left and right. I'm like, you know what? This is what it's about. Not just like the glitz and glam and the fame and the fortune, all that other stuff, but creating relationships with the people who view, so that you can become that brand, and now you have leverage. Right.
I think that was one of the coolest parts, because same thing. 84 is crazy. I think for me, I went to Rolling Loud, and this was at my peak. It was a music festival. I was at my peak of going viral, like, consistently. And I think I got stopped like 14, 15 times at a music festival. So it was super cool. By the end, I had practiced like what my speech, like how was the show? I had my etiquette on point. And then now me and my girlfriend, we have a running tally of like who gets recognized more in public, because it's cool. It sounds like so like lame. It's like, oh wow, it's cool to you. But like, it is cool to me. I'm a regular ass fucking dude. I didn't blow up on TV or nothing. I posted videos on my phone, and it has equated to me walking out in public and people being like, yo, I seen you before.
Right.
That's cool as shit. So 84 times is crazy. But I think one of the coolest parts about all that is the fact that you can build that just from this.
Right. Just from the phone.
Just from the phone.
And it goes back to ultimately whether it's Threads, Twitter, AI, anything. Like with the people who have the limiting beliefs or whatever, it's just a shift in the mindset. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. I know everybody now, it's ultra mindset coaching or whatever it is, but truly, it's as small as just shifting in your mind.
One thing I fucking hate is like all of these people that, I'm a life coach, I'm a mindset coach. Bro, what the fuck have you done?
Yeah.
I will never, so it sounds so fucked up, I don't listen to poor people. Kanye said it best, I don't listen to people that have less money than me.
Right.
I agree with that. I'm not listening to no poor people, because how can you tell me something about mindset when you're poor? You haven't conquered your own mindset to make money. Because making money, I think, is the prerequisite, right? You don't have to do it, but also don't become a fucking coach. Like, I think if you're a coach, you should be successful in every aspect of your life. You should have, you should have a beautiful like relationship life. You should be in good shape, and you should be making good money.
Right.
When I see people that only, like, if you make a lot of money, be a finance coach. Don't be a life coach. Don't talk about mindset, right? If you're just fit, be a fitness coach. Don't talk about money. Don't talk about mindset. So I think in order to talk about mindset, which unfortunately what everyone talks about, you have to be successful in all three.
Right.
And right now you just see a lot of mindset coaching, life coaches, and it's like, why would I learn from you if you don't have a life that I envy?
I agree, because you wouldn't want to take advice from somebody you wouldn't want to switch bank accounts with, right?
Yeah.
And
not even bank accounts, just lives with.
Right, because I think you can definitely take advice in different aspects of life from somebody who's broke, but when it comes to money, you can't be somebody who has nothing and you're trying to tell somebody who has something how they should operate with that something if you don't got it. I'm not saying it's not possible for you to be able to, because there's some people who got nothing who have magnificent advice. But more often than not, would you really walk over, all right, I need somebody to help me understand what to do with this, how I could get my mindset from 1 million to 10 million, from 10 million to 100 million. Let me pass by this, where these bums are located. Perhaps they have some good insight what to do. It's a losing game. You have to go to where when somebody's on a higher level, you go to them to go find out. But it goes back to like what you said, you got to make sure that you are qualified to talk about certain things.
Those bums be giving some good advice sometimes though,
man. The bums do have some good advice.
The bums, I remember I'm telling the bum, man, like I was walking in LA, that's when I lived in LA, bum goes, hey man, don't be like me. I'm like, hey, exactly. Good advice.
You're right.
Right.
You're right. I won't.
Don't worry about that.
I won't. Right.
Yeah, so I was like, at the end of the day, I think you got to get someone that's been in your position and has changed it successfully, because then at that point you have something you can trust.
100%, especially as it pertains to mindset, financial, whatever the case is, because there's so many people who are just faking it right now. Like but they've got nothing and they're still faking. Because again, you could be somebody who's on your ascension and you have the proper mindset and you could talk about it, but nobody's going to give a fuck until you get there.
Yep.
So ultimately, only talk about certain things the moment that you're truly qualified to do so. Because when you do it prematurely, it's going to fall on, on deaf ears. You're going to be in a spot where people will call you scammer or whatever the case may be. They won't believe it until they mess around and see it. So when you got that Ferrari in the front, you got that Lambo in the front, or even if you got a Prius that just so happens to be zooped up, whatever the case is, you could be in a position to talk about particular kinds of things. But
I don't got a Prius, by the way. This man, he's like, even if you
right, if you have a Prius,
if you got a Prius, by the way, I'm like, I don't got a Prius.
Hey, I have a what was the brand? Perspective bike. I think that's what the brand.
What?
Yeah, I ride a bike. I ride my bike. Yeah, I drive friends' cars because what's the purpose of making a car payment at the moment?
Yeah, I know. Listen, who didn't get the car first, me or you?
Oh, you, without question. I mean, if you want one today, then you get one. For me, it has to make sense. Yeah,
but if you want one, I feel like you get one.
I mean, I could, but still, it's just it has to make sense. I have to, like, now I'm in a position where I want to acquire. If I'm going to buy something, I'm like, how can this aid me in making money, or what can I use this for to go somewhere else? So I'm almost everything has to be somewhat utilized.
We should get an Assiduous podcast PJ.
Perhaps. Hey,
guys, run the view so we can buy a PJ.
Right. Or I should say, comments. Y'all let us know what we should. Assiduous what? What should
an Assiduous PJ?
Right.
And that'd be fire. And then every week we just fly out one subscriber or like 5 subscribers to watch live. Or we should run the first podcast ever on a PJ. The idea.
Because I don't know if anybody else has done that, but maybe we got the school in Africa. Now we got flying somebody to
I'm putting us in debt
before
I'm putting the podcast in debt before we even like make any money.
Hey, who knows? If it doesn't work out, we'll file for bankruptcy. Gotta do what we gotta do. But one way or another, I appreciate everybody tuning in to episode 7 of the Assiduous podcast.
Oh, yeah.
It is I, again, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the chiseled Adonis. He is the serial entrepreneur, Filipino Prince Tycoon. Rene Lacard, and we are
Assiduous.